Hi, everyone. Welcome to our channel. My name is IJ,
I'm Dior.
and today we're going to talk about Put a Ring on It, Season 2, Episode 3. So today, Dr. LaBeach talked about trust again, the trust issues that the couples have. And it became very apparent during this episode how distrustful the couples were. So I thought the best way to do it is break it down couple by couple, talk about their dates, what happened, what we learned about the couples, and we got a little bit of insight on their personalities and what their true issues are and how it holds them back from going on the next step, which is putting a ring on it. So this time the couples went on dates, the same date, same time, same place. I would have felt uncomfortable going on a date and then seeing my significant other there as well. Dior?
Well, since we, went into this process together, I would be expecting to, yeah, of course, I would know that they were going on dates. I would try my very hardest to not make it seem like it bothered me. Like, of course, it would bother me, and you would want to look over there. But as we talk about the different couples, I mean, like, I was just really turned off by how some of them reacted to, like how they interacted with their dates, with their significant other on their date. I felt like they really should have focused on their own dates and the person that they were going on a date with. So I would be trying my hardest to act like it does not bother me. I do not see you over there, because I would really want to try to get out of the process what we're supposed to get out of it.
I think that I would have been, my eyes would have been glued on my significant other out of the corner of my eyes, seeing what you were doing, making sure that nobody was touching anybody. And if you were drinking alcohol, you kept it to one glass because we don't want any alcohol made me do it.
On the date with them. You left your date and went on the date with them. I can see that.
But I would have made a conscious effort to make the person that I'm going out with feel like they're going out with me
You can't do
while
that.
still
You
keeping a
can't do
quick
that.
eye here and there. It's
There's no
just
way,
natural. It's just
there's no way
natural.
you can do that.
It's just
But you
look.
have to think about it. Why would you feel that way though? Like, why would you because I think, yeah, of course, this is about trust. So do you trust your partner enough for them to be, especially like y'all are in the same place, so they would be doing less on a date, or maybe on a date with y'all in the same place than they would if they were privately on a date. So you have to
I
trust them
yeah,
enough to
I
allow
would
the,
yeah, but the reason why I would be watching, it wouldn't be out of mistrust because I'm there. It would be to see their body language and see how they act when they're not around me.
Mhm.
Because, I want to see how he is when he's with another woman, when another woman's complimenting him, talking to him. How's he feeling? How's he acting? That's what I want to see. But what I thought was interesting was that Darian went out with Kai again. We knew he was going to. And I would have felt uncomfortable because I would have been, had I been Lexi, I would have been keeping my eye on her just to see, check out this girl who has caught my man's attention that
she
he
was
wouldn't go out twice.
she was so one thing I observed on that date was um Alexia, yes, was all in their business.
Oh, we're getting off of step. Well, you know what? Let's start with them first then.
Yeah,
Let's
Alexia
start with
was all in their business, and she was completely. I mean, she said she wasn't attracted to her date, but it doesn't matter. Like, she was completely neglecting him. But he was the second, like, well, he's her second date, but her first date also said she needed to focus on herself. He said the same exact thing.
and he said, focus on yourself. 14 years. I had to replay that over and over again to hear that part. He said, you're getting played 14 years. And I was just like, what? I rewound that over and over again.
I didn't hear him say that. I just heard him say
Yeah.
yourself. And she got really defensive, like she did on the last date. Oh, I do stuff for myself. I do focus on myself, but not really, because you're all into him. You're worried about what he's doing.
I
Um,
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that I felt, but well, if we start from the beginning of the episode for their date, they didn't show the couples getting they didn't show them getting ready for their date. They just showed them at the actual date. And it was funny how Kai feels like she's not you know, the string along girl,
The
the wannabe
party.
wifey. Yeah, I was just like,
I do not play second to anyone. I'm like, but you chose to be on a show where you're going out on dates with someone who's already in a relationship. Girl, you're second.
and she feels like she's not going to play that role. That's dangerous.
And you
That's
went on 2 dates
dangerous.
with him so far, you're about
And
to.
yet, but yet she's going on 2 dates, but yet she feels like she's so involved in a relationship. Are they texting that we don't know about, calling and talking to each other between dates, and that's why she's feeling this type of connection to him? Because
What?
there are no rules.
Well, what do you mean by them having a connection?
Well, if you listen to what she says, she's saying that, you know, she plays second fiddle to no one and so forth. And she's like, to me, it feels like their relationship is more than just a first date. They've only gone out in one date. But by the second date and how they're talking to each other in the car, it's really relaxed. It's really, excuse me, casual. And it's like people that have known each other for a while and have conversed with each other, communicated to each other, because they're talking and she's saying it's going to be okay. I understand, da, da, da. And I feel like their relationship is a lot further than just one date.
Yeah, I must have missed the part where they were in the car. I
Yeah,
completely.
they were in the car driving together and he was telling her how awkward he was going to feel.
Okay.
And she was just like, oh, you know, it's okay, da, da, da. And that's when she started talking about, I'm not going to play second fiddle. But, you know, when they're there, I thought it was surprising that he's the one couldn't eat, felt discombobulated. He
Well,
was just, he was freaked
for
out.
14 years, so unless you completely, don't want to be with your significant other, I would hope that you would feel a little something about them going on a date with someone else.
Yeah, but it was just like his system had shut down
Mm-hmm.
because he saw her with another man. I thought that was surprising. I thought he would be more relaxed and he would be more open to it. But I guess actually seeing it happen
Mm-hmm.
impacted him.
Mm-hmm.
And did you catch what Lexi said about their apartment that they have up in another city where he sometimes goes to in the studio?
I thought that was okay. I thought that was in another. I thought it was in the clips for the next episode.
No, no. She said to her date, you know, he's in another. He was talking about a different town, and she said, yeah, he has a studio up there because she was telling him that he's a rapper. He has another studio up there, and he sometimes he goes up there and stays at the apartment. So he says, and then they went off talking about something else.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I missed that part. I did see like when they came in and she was like, oh, he just came in. If you look over to it's like I felt like she's more obsessed with him being a rapper or former rapper than he is. Like she's just like she wanted her date to know that he was in Philmont because he was like, you're dating. Oh, I see you smoke, and she was like, yeah. And I'm just like, why? And she was in the last episode, she was the one who said, oh, I hope he doesn't ask for your autograph. So it's like she seems to be really obsessed about him having some type of celebrity status.
But maybe she has a reason to because if somebody was really popular as he was, she probably got to see a lot of things that, you know, people always around him wanting his autograph, groupies and so forth. He's probably stepped out, you know, before on their relationship. She's probably seen a lot. And so now, you know, she's maybe still living a part of that, you know, in the relationship. But because she can't focus on herself.
I think the therapist needs to like focus on that part. Like, are you really are you really able to have a good trusting relationship if you are still holding these things, if you have these insecurities, because they're essentially insecurities, I think they need to touch on that, because like she's kind of obsessed about it. So it's just like you can't move past it if you're just talking about it all the time.
But are they insecurities of just something in her head, or has the past made her to be like that?
It doesn't matter. It's something that needs to be addressed, no matter what it is.
Right. And I think that's probably why Dr. LaBeach needs to, probably have a sit down with them and have that talk, letting her know that she seems kind of controlling regarding the relationship. Letting her know, Lexi know that you can only control yourself. You can't try to control him and what he does. You've got to learn to trust him. I don't know what happened in their past. So that makes it kind of hard for me to just tell her, go ahead and trust him, because you don't know what he's done in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, she wants to be married to him, so.
True, and true. That's very true. That's very, very true.
Can't trust him, then she has to, figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But so the date kind of ended with Smoke and Kai leaving the restaurant. Kai grabbed his arm and like kind of pulled him out the restaurant. She got upset by that. If I were her date Desi, I would not even want to go on a second date with her.
I don't think she really cared if she went on a second date with him.
She didn't. She said she wasn't attracted to him, but I would have like gotten up and left. I would just say, I don't think you're ready for this, and just left her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that the whole thing, when I first initially saw that date, which was the most interesting date out of all of them for me, but because of the way that I saw him act, I was very, very surprised at how Darian was acting. Was that when his date had to say, okay, you know what, let's get out of here, because he was so distressed.
Mm-hmm.
And his date should have felt something. I thought if it was me and I'm going out with you and you're that distressed because you're seeing your partner out on this dating on this show, and you're that distressed, that tells me you're not ready to be dating.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to get him up out of there. He couldn't get him up out of there and walk out and hold him, was leading him out. What I thought was disrespectful, of course, Kai didn't care because she has no affiliation or loyalty to Lexi. She doesn't even know Lexi. What I thought was disrespectful was that Darian allowed his hand to be held and taken out. I would have been upset if I would have seen that she's leading him and he's following while holding her hand. That would have made me upset.
Yeah, but I guess I get that, but it wasn't like a romantic. It's not like she was like literally pulling him. It wasn't like a.
So imagine you're sitting there and you're watching your man. Someone's holding his hand.
I think you're not thinking that they're on a date. Like, just because you can see it doesn't mean, he's doing what he didn't reach out for her hand. She just grabbed it and pulled him out. If you were focused on your date, you wouldn't have been paying attention to that. And so I don't think
agree with that one.
Like,
if my husband or if my significant other was walking out of a room and he let another woman hold his hand while they were walking out, even if she was leading in front and holding it from behind, like she said, it looked like two people that were going to get ready to go out on a whatever, because she's not privy to their conversation, so she doesn't know what they're talking about. But then again, that's where the trust is where you trust your significant other not to do something that would cross the line. But there are people that if you touch their man, they get upset. They don't like people to touch their man. They don't like people to hug their man and so forth.
This is a whole different scenario. Like, you signed up for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you're not on TV and you caught him out on a date with another woman and then she grabbed, like, you signed up for this.
And also remember, he's going out on a second date with her. He's told her there's feelings that he has about this lady. The conversations him and this lady have So there is something behind this other lady. And now this other lady is leading you out the door, holding your hand, and you're allowing it. And he's just like, but I did it. I raised my hand to show her it's her doing it. Then take your hands off.
So do you think, I guess, to
And it's
me,
a thought process too. What makes you, as a second date, think I must have given you vibes? If you and another man were going out and he held your hands, it's because you gave him vibes that it is okay to touch me.
but okay, so if the vibes happen and because his wife or his fiance was or girlfriend was watching, he took his hands away, but the feelings were still there. Like that doesn't like erase the feel. Like this is a process for a reason. You know, this the intention of this is not for them to like for all of them to be together. It's for them to figure out if they should be together. And if he is developing feelings for another woman, or if there are a lot of things in their relationship that are broken, they signed up for this process. This is a way to identify that so they're not continuing to waste their time, you know? Just I guess it's like, oh, if I don't know about something, then you know, like then it's okay. It's not okay because it's still happening. So those feelings are still happening, even if he's, you know, he's not allowing her to pull him out the restaurant. Um, and you know, her reaction, I don't think makes things any better. Her reaction to it doesn't make anything any better.
Her reaction to it didn't make it better. I wouldn't have yelled it in the at the restaurant. When we got home, I'd have been like, oh, so you're allowing her to touch you physically. All right.
Yeah, I think it does open up a conversation. But I mean, he said, whether this is true or not, he said that he didn't want to cause a scene. So that's why he didn't like pull away or anything like that. And again, it wasn't a romantic type of thing. And he did try to.
That wasn't her perception sitting there watching.
Yeah, because she's insecure. You can't control like what somebody perceives, but they can have a conversation about it. And just like Dr. LaBeach said for one of the other couples, like, you know, you're controlling what somebody else's their intentions are and what they think when you're just making up things in your head and applying it to their situation. So have that conversation. Say, you know, like I guess like you just have to be more mature. We signed up for this process. Now I'm saying outside of, you know, this process, yeah, these things would not be okay. But in this process, you go home, you have a conversation and say, you know, it made me feel uncomfortable with her doing that. You know, why did you allow that? Allow him to provide his reasoning, you know, and, you know, you decide whether or not it requires further discussion or you accept that. But, you know, you just have to be more in control of your feelings and your emotions. And I think that's what Dr. LaBeach said at the end when all the groups were together.
One of the things I don't like that the show doesn't do is it doesn't address the issues of why these couples have trust issues. What has happened in their past to bring on this trust issues? And without really talking about that and getting into that, these tactics to me just heightens the individual who feels like there's a trust issue. It just heightens their anxiety, their feelings of, is it going to happen again? So I guess because they signed on for the show, they know this is going to happen. But I think that if this show really wanted to get to the root of these couples' issues, I mean, it is reality TV show, and who wants to sit around and watch people go through talk therapy? This is more fun.
When they ask her to, she's going to their house. So I think she will be at their home next week because she went to Sean and LaRonda's home in last week's episode. And then in a little bit, like, you know, when they express their feelings during the group session, she touches on it a little bit as well.
Yeah, I just don't, touching on things a little bit doesn't really help. These couples, it's amazing. The men are more open than the women this time. I've noticed that. The men are all talking about communication. Whereas women, it seems like they don't want to hear it. And I feel like they don't want to hear it for a reason. And I feel like and maybe during the show, the next couple of episodes, we'll see it where she does go and talk to them about it. But I wonder if they're getting like true therapy where they're talking about why we have these trust issues, understanding why they came about, what can they do about it, and give them skills to deal with it so that they do begin to trust each other, because just seeing your spouse out with somebody isn't going to heal a trust issue. But maybe what it does do for the men is, if it's the women that have the trust issues, the men get to see it and they get to feel it. Maybe that's the best that can come out of it. But I don't think it's a healthy way. Dating other people is a healthy way to deal with trust issues without therapy behind it, like real therapy.
I said, though, because a lot of people don't know what their issues are in a relationship. They don't know that they may say that they trust the person, but then when they're actually in the situation, it really highlights it. So I think that's probably what it does, is just highlight where kind of some of their issues are.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to the next couple.
Right.
So
go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, let's move on to the next couple.
Okay. I think the next couple, I call them the sexy couple. Jessica and Eric. I call them the sexy couple. I was surprised on this date. I was really surprised. I was pleasantly surprised about Eric. I was. Lexi seems a little bit more superficial during this episode, whilst the way they edited the episode made us start looking at Eric like, okay, maybe there's a human being underneath there. He's talking about communicating and connecting on a deeper level. Completely took me by surprise. When I saw the young lady, his date, I knew that that's not his type physically. But I was surprised that he was so entranced with their conversation that he didn't even notice the significant other. He noticed Jessica there. Could have been a ploy, I don't know, but
again, with this date, like, she was really distracted by him. She kept talking about him on the date, and I was just like, girl, get a grip. Like, talk to him, like, talk about your date or get to know him. But she's just like, oh, you knew he was coming to the restaurant. She acted like she didn't know they were going, oh, look at who's here.
Well, no, she knew he was there, but because she was there before he came. But I think that what her date did that was different and better than Lexi's date was, her date said, yeah, let's get on out of here. And she's like, okay. And he took her out of that situation because she was so uncomfortable. And it is okay to be uncomfortable with seeing your significant other with somebody else, dating somebody else. To me, it would be very difficult to sit there and watch it, especially if they're having fun. I'm like, I want to have fun too. But nobody signed on to see each other be there and watch each other date at the same time. But I don't know if Eric enjoys attention. That could be it too. But it seemed like he was trying to tell Jessica after the date that I had a great conversation with this woman, and it was something that's been missing in our relationship.
I agree. I took notes about that. I don't think the way he said it in the right way.
Yes.
Because I think he said it in a way to make her feel like she meant less to him. It was more of a kind of
a dig.
Yeah. And so he said it was the best conversation I ever had, and I think he came around a little bit, at the end of their discussion by saying, like, we're missing this from our relationship. But I think if he had said, one thing I noticed about this date was that we were able to talk on a deeper level. For us, I feel like we have more of a physical relationship or a physical connection, and I'm really missing, that deeper connection. and then from there say, you know, I would like for us to do da 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 da. I think like, you know, the communication skills, it was good that he said how he felt. It was just the way, you know, the way he said it just wasn't right. And then she
Right.
reacted, you know, she had like a bad reaction to it because
I felt bad for her.
all she heard was, oh, you know, we don't, our conversations aren't good and there's nothing deep with you know, in our relationship.
And she heard, I'm not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And no female wants to hear, I'm not enough.
Because I think a lot of times, like some women do, especially like if they're really attractive women, I think they usually do kind of rely a lot on their physical features and the, you know, men's attraction to them, the attention. Um, and, you know, for some women, it seems like there is really nothing else there. Because they don't have to use those other things to attract a man, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then once a man realizes, like, oh, you know what, there's nothing, this is all surface level, there's nothing underneath, you know, then I think sometimes when we're like, why, you know, like a really attractive woman, why is she single? You know, I think sometimes that's kind of the reason behind it. It's not that I'm sure she has the ability to be deep and everything like that, but that's probably like what drew him to her initially. And that's what they probably built their relationship on. But to go after 3 or 4 years and start that deep connection building, I mean, I guess it could probably happen, but there's a lot that they would have to, you know, dig into.
I think for this date helped Eric in a couple of ways. It helped him see that one, what I'm missing from my relationship is that conversation, that communication, where they can just talk and talk and talk and feel comfortable talking to each other. And two, I think it made him realize that I need to look deeper than just somebody's appearance. I need to look to see who the person actually is. And to me, that's what made me look at him a totally different way. And his hairline didn't bother me anymore.
Until he decided he didn't want to go on the second, because the girl wasn't unattractive. So
no, yeah. But he said he still needs to be attracted to the person, which, you know, we were talking earlier this week, like my daughter, she's just like, I'm just like, hey, I'm just like, look past that physical appearance and look for something else within that person. It can't be all about physical, but like Eric said, and she said, she has to be attracted to the person even to get to the second person.
Be attracted to them. I guess I'm like, well, what was unattractive about her? That's what I didn't see.
I think, yeah, he's used to slender women. He's used to slender, athletic looking women. And she unfortunately wasn't slender and athletic. She had beautiful hair and she had great skin, it appeared like. And she had a great personality, obviously, and they communicated well, but physically.
Look at her again, because I mean, I know she wasn't slender, but she wasn't like, she didn't look like she was out of shape to me. So
he's just used to slender women that are, I guess, gorgeous, like his girlfriend. But you know, the funny thing is when they went to their meeting, when they met with the group, she decided to go on a second date. I wasn't surprised because he was kind of handsome. And I love the braids. And I like the braids and I like tattoos too. I mean, I like to look at tattoos. I don't like them on me or on my significant other, but I think tattoos and braids are very sexy, especially when together. Huh?
I said, who are you looking at the tattoos on then?
I said I like to look at them and I think they're sexy. But no, I thought he was a handsome man. But and I like that. I like the braids too. And once again, he's a bodybuilder kind of person. There's a lot of fitness people this season too, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but one thing I did catch that I wish this young lady would have caught, Jessica would have caught, this guy said that he is ready for a relationship because there are not people out there in Atlanta ready to settle down, but he has people around him that he sees, and he himself wants to settle down. And I thought, okay, this guy wants to settle down. We'll see what happens with them. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but she's so involved with what's his name, with Eric, that she can't see straight.
Yeah.
And do you think what she was wearing was appropriate?
She had like a black bodysuit, was it?
Yeah, one-piece bodysuit.
I didn't see anything wrong with it. What was wrong with it?
I just felt like, I don't know if I'm being like, my sister always accuses me of being too Amish-like, granola-ish. But I just felt like it's a tight A one-piece outfit that just like, that's all you wore is a leotard.
Yeah, well, Alexia, I think she had like a one-piece romper on, and it was like mesh see-through on half of it. The shorts were really short.
Yeah, but it was, I guess it just wasn't like, I don't know, for some reason hers just seemed overtly sexy. Lexi's one was just like, I felt like it was shorts and a top. So yeah. All right, so our last couple.
Can I start with this couple? Because I know I have been saying that I thought they were a cute couple and but this time I'm over Sean now because
I'm the lost child couple.
Huh?
I call them the lost child couple because he acts like a child.
Oh my goodness.
But I wonder if that's what she like. I don't know. She's ironing his clothes.
She said that it was exhausting, that he like, I can't remember what exactly. She said she always feels like he thinks that something's brewing in the background. And that was exhausting because you have to temper that. It's like you always have to
walk on eggshells. Walk
on eggshells and overcompensate for their insecurity. So you always have to like, this is where I'm going and this is what time I'll be back. And that I feel her 100%. That is exhausting.
I thought he's exhausting. His emotional ups and downs would be exhausting for me. It's nice to have your significant other be affectionate, loving, and so forth. But my God.
But it's not just that though. In this situation, it's like he's so insecure.
Yeah. Did you see when the date came over and he couldn't just be calm about it? He had to make comments, let it be known, put his brand on her. This is my woman, da 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 da. And she's just like, oh my goodness. And the other guy was like, he didn't care. He didn't care.
Yeah. And he mentioned, so the woman that he went on a date with, Brittany, she was a actress, singer, professional singer. Yeah, she's a professional singer. I don't know what that means, but she was. So they were both in the entertainment business. What was LaRonda's date? Do we know what his profession?
Yeah, they didn't say what his because I looked.
I wondered. I want, because I think we know that part of Sean's insecurities is around his
financial stability.
And I wonder if they would set her up with somebody who is stable and like has a stable career. Sean threw out that she was very corporate. I think it would be good for her to be on a date with someone, because they set him up with someone that he could relate to by being in the entertainment business. It would be nice for her to see what it's like to be on a date with someone who doesn't have those particular insecurities. Not to say that they won't have insecurities about something else, but if she could be set up with someone who has a stable career, is where they want to be.
Self-confident.
Yeah, because
I mean, the first thing Sean said when he saw the date was like, he's a linebacker. He's a superhero, and that just kept.
You know what? I thought he was saying that because he felt like, oh, he's better than me in size and things like that. But then when we get to the end, he's like, oh, she don't like those kind of guys. Like, so you're gonna say what she doesn't like, and where are you getting this information from? Like,
in his head, the narrative in his head, that how he sees things through his goggles. That's what he's seen it from. Because he said when they were on their way out, he's like, she only likes guys with beards. I'm like, and then what did he do as soon as they left? Got on his phone probably to call his buddy to try to help calm him down. But I laughed so hard during the date because of course LaRonda and her date was there.
She was living her best life with her date.
Was she not?
So I would be LaRonda on a date. I would be, let's have shots. He said that she was talking louder. I probably would be doing that too.
But I also wondered, was she egging him on? Was she acting extra to egg him on and make him feel worse?
I don't think so, for the simple fact that she chose not to go on the second date with the other guy to spare his feelings. So I don't think so.
Did she? I must have missed that part because I thought that we would find out next.
I'm talking about her last date.
Yeah, her last date. Yeah, okay.
So I think she's considerate of his feelings. I think she probably did it to make herself be more comfortable. Like, like when you, of course, she was probably bothered too that he was going on a date, but I think she, like, her speaking louder was like for her to be like, okay, let's get this going. Cause it's like something you do unnaturally. Like you're just like, okay, for me to focus here, I'm overcompensating. I'm pretending like not pretending, but I'm like forcing myself to, have a better time than maybe it would have naturally went. So I don't think she was doing it to make him feel bad, for the simple fact that she didn't go on that second date to spare his feelings. And even it seems like she's kind of teetering on the decision as to whether she'll have a second date again for his feelings. So I don't think she was doing it for that reason. I think she was just like, let's just, do what we're supposed to do. Let's have this date, and try not to focus on what's going on over there.
I would have been having fun if I was on the date. When I saw them having fun, I wanted to get off my treadmill and go get some shots. I was so mad at myself. I was like, I want some shots now. But I just, like I said from the beginning, I don't like this couple together. I feel like she's controlling and she's an enabler. It's something in my head just lets me know she's an enabler. She's an enabler, and he's so childlike and he's so insecure. It would be hard to be with somebody that's like that, because that's the type of person, like, when me and my significant other are together, I'll say, oh my God, look at her butt. It is so big. And then he'll just look at me and be like, I was like, look. And then he'll look like, yes, that's a big butt. I'm like, I know. Da-da-da. I mean, that stuff doesn't, I don't care. I want to be able to say, oh, that's a handsome man over there, or so forth, without my significant other getting mad.
If you're pointing, a big butt out, a woman having a big butt out, what if you're like, are you okay in the reverse if your husband does that? I
would be all up on it. I love the human body. I love watching strippers dance and so forth. I mean, not like we go out to strippers or anything. I've only seen once before, but I love the human body. I love gossiping. So if you want to gossip with me, oh yeah, we're going to be gossiping, all right. But no, to me, it's just, and then he was watching her, actually doing a side-eye glance. Like they caught him with the camera, do the side-eye glance, watching her the whole entire time.
There was one part where he said, what did he say? Said, oh, at that point I was no longer focused on Brittany. I can't remember, what did they do?
They were talking about both of them being in the entertainment world, and then she started laughing, getting ready to drink.
Okay. So when she said something out loud, I was like, you were never focused on Brittany. There's not one point where you were focused on Brittany.
He didn't really seem his type anyways. I don't know, something about there was, I felt like a lack of chemistry.
With Brittany.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I saw them together.
yeah, I don't even know that if they ever had any more of a.
He didn't have a shot. He didn't have a shot.
I feel
I
so
think
bad for
I
her.
think what's going to happen at the end of this is she's going to realize she can't be with him because his insecurity,
He'll never feel comfortable
man enough.
to be okay, and they can never move past where they currently are. Because
But you know what? They could move past where they, and this is what I'm saying, Dior. This is what's bothering me about this whole entire setup of these dates. They can get past their issues if they knew what the issues were. If somebody sat down and talked to them about these issues. I know what has made Sean like this.
well, they did talk about that in the last episode.
But did his dad cheat on his mom all the time? Is that what it was? They never brought that up. I want to know, why is Sean so insecure? We know why Jessica's insecure. That's obvious. And she said he was going out with women when they were together in the beginning. We know why Lexi is insecure. It's because her significant other is a rapper, and he's probably been played on her so many times before it's not funny. But she's accepted it for 14 years, so okay. But why over here is Sean so insecure? Was it his dad stepping out on his mom?
I think a big part of it is that he's not able to provide in the way that he feels like he should be. The only thing, it sounded like the only thing his dad did do was provide.
Being a provider, unfortunately, men think that being a provider is all that you need to do. But there's more to raising a family than being a provider.
If that's all he saw, then that's what he probably thinks a big part of being. Not to say that, like, you know, we don't know if his dad was like, we don't know the full story behind his dad, but the one thing that he saw a man do, he's not able to do right now.
But what is he doing about it?
He wants to be a entertainer. I don't know. He's waiting to get married until he gets stable. Do we know if that's ever going to happen? I don't know.
I know. Well, next week's episode looks rather interesting.
Well, did we say like what other couples? So Jessica decided to go on a second date. Eric decided not to go on a second date. Darian decided to go on a third date with Kai.
Because he felt that it was unfair because this was not a real date and it was bad. I was like,
I agree with that. I mean, I did think that he didn't, he wasn't able to assess whether or not he needed to go on a third date because he didn't, really give her a fair shot because he, was kind of focused on Alexia's date. So I understood that.
I think for him going on this date was good because it shows him this is what life's going to be like if you guys separate. She will be out there in the streets.
What?
If Lexi and him separated,
what do you mean?
She would be out. If she would be out in the street, she would be dating other people.
Mm-hmm.
And he's seen like, somebody else wants her. The jealousy. I think it was just weird how he felt. I think that maybe they truly love each other out of all the couples. I don't know. I'm still trying to understand their relationship.
Mm-hmm. And then Alexia decided not to go on the second date with her person, Desi. And then where Sean decided not to go on a second date, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he decided not to go on a second date. And then we're waiting for LaRonda's decision on this.
I think LaRonda is going to go on a second date because her mom.
I hope she does. She needs to. She needs to because she needs to fully do whatever the process, is meant for them to do. And like you said, if she continues to turn down second dates only because of Sean, she is enabling the situation. She's not making it any better. So I think she needs to go on a second date.
Yeah. Well, that's our review of the episode. It was an interesting episode. I don't think I could have been okay. I could have done it, and I would have loved the shots, but I can't help it.
We do
But
have a few updates. So we do have a YouTube channel. So follow us on not a YouTube channel. This is our YouTube channel. We have an Instagram channel, Instagram page. So follow us on The Real on the Real. We just literally started it today. So we'll post more content on there. Follow us here on our YouTube channel. Like us, comment, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our videos are posted.
all right, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
No, we'll see everybody on Sunday.
Oh yes, we'll be reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac. So yes, follow us for that.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.